All right, Village DRB, you are live.
Good morning. I call to order the Design Review Board for Tuesday, June 6, 2023. The first item on our agenda are the minutes of May 16, 2023. Do we have any corrections or questions? If not, then I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Sue. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. And the next item on the agenda is White's Apothecary at 81 Main Street. Is the applicant present? Oh, okay. So why don't we skip that and we'll go to the next item. The next item is the Historic District, Hedges Inn at LLC at 74 James Lane. Is the applicant present? Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay.
Douglas Moyer, architect for the Hedges Inn.
Okay, can you just please explain the application?
Yes. We're interested in installing a fountain on the existing brick terrace on the north side of the existing dining room. We were here previously to put in our nano-wall doors, so when we open it up, we're looking to have that nice little background and a visual in the dining room during the day. I sent you a photo of the fountain. It happens to be in the yard at East Hampton Gardens. And, you know, the area has been there. There's the fire escape back there, and it's fully enclosed. You can't see anything from the adjacent driveway, and the gardens are just filling in right now.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Billy Hayjack, your input on it? Tom Parado, okay. With this, I think it's attractive. Thank you. Any other questions from board members? Okay. If not, then I would entertain a motion to approve the application. Do I have that motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Ann. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Kristen. All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And the next item on the agenda is the Woods Lane Holdings LLC at 6 Woods Lane. And is the applicant present? Okay, no.
Maybe go back to that.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. And the next item is Historic District, the Rosary LLC at 146 Main Street. Is the applicant present for this? Yes, just introduce yourself and we'll take it from there.
Hey, everyone. My name is John Huber of Dayton Voorhees and Bolson here in East Hampton. We are the attorneys for the applicant. We propose first and second floor interior alterations and additions to the non-historic portions of the existing main house at the property. The village's ZBA approved the application on April 14th. I submitted by a letter dated May 6th, received by the board on May 9th, I believe, the elevations depicting the proposed view. The reason for the revised plans was that in collaboration with the zoning board during that process, we lowered the ridge lines a few feet, which are at the rear of the house. And I have with me today project architect Pam Pospisil, and she will outline the design elements that are of interest to the board. And basically, all of the proposals are in keeping with the building's historic character and the outlying properties. Thank you so much.
Good morning.
Good morning. Pam Pospisil, Pospisil & Brown. Architects, 141 Hampton Road, Southampton, New York. Our goal and challenge in this project was, of course, to be sensitive and respectful of the old portion of the house. And in fact, which dates to the 1700s. And in fact, the project basically doesn't touch the front block of the house, except for some minor interior changes, and very minor, and potentially shoring up the foundation. Like many historic houses, they evolve over time, and in the 50s, there was a large flat roof addition added to the rear of the building, and that's where the focus of our work is concentrated. the reason for doing the project is to bring it up to date, and provide a safe stair. As you can imagine, the old 1700s house has a very steep stair, and so we want to get one in there that's safe and comfortable to use. I know that the board main concern is about materials, so I'll run through that real quick, and then you can hit me with whatever questions you might have. The siding, cedar shingle. We're going to match what's on the front section of the house, on the rear section of the house, which I believe is a 10-inch exposure to the weather. The roof on the old portion is cedar shingle. We intend to go back with cedar shingle on the changing from the flat roof to a pitched roof on that rear wing. The windows. The main body of the house has, on the front facade facing Main Street, cottage windows, which are 6/9, and the rest of the old historic part is 6/6, and we intend to use 6/6 windows on the rear section as well. I would propose Marvin aluminum clad, but I'm sure the board doesn't want to hear that. So we will go back with Marvin wood windows or LePage, and we're not sure which manufacturer we'll use, but there will be a wood window, 6/6, double hung. Trim. The corner boards on the existing house are all natural cedar, and we would propose to go back with cedar, unpainted.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Trim board. The only exception to that is the one frieze on the front facing the main street, and that is white painted, and that will remain white painted. The trim around the windows will be wood, but there, again, that is painted, and so our trim on windows and doors on our new section will be painted white. And lighting, there's virtually no change. There's a sconce on the front elevation, which will remain. We're only adding one door. It's at the very rear of the house, and there may be a sconce there. Otherwise, it's under a porch, and there would be down lighting. And one thing I did miss on the roof, there is a porch that we're proposing on the rear of the building. It's a very flat pitch. So there we are proposing a standing seam metal roof in a gray or bronze color. Not touching chimneys, other than repair, they'll remain. So that's pretty much it. I do have a little rendering here, if it's of interest to you, a photograph and a rendering showing the house, the photograph as it is today, and then my rendering of what it will look like. And you will see that it is almost invisible. What we're doing at the rear is almost invisible from Main Street.
Me too.
Oh, sorry.
If
Extra
anybody
one?
if anybody needed.
Thank you.
So I think you can see by the comparison that there's virtually no change.
Sorry, can I ask a question about this rendering? So the 6/9 windows are staying?
Yes.
Okay, so in the rendering, they're 6/6?
Yes, I apologize for that. I picked up on that last night.
Just wanted to make sure
Yeah,
I
we're
heard
not
you right.
proposing a change there.
Okay, great.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
Thank you. Thank you. Billy Hajek, your input?
I have no real question.
Tom?
No.
Okay.
for me.
Board members, any questions?
I think it looks very nice.
I just have to say, you always do beautiful work.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Great. With that said, I would entertain a motion to approve the application. Do I have that motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Kristen. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you, and thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Okay, the next item, okay, that takes care of that. What about Guildhall? Oh, Guildhall, are they here?
They're here.
Oh, okay. Good morning. How are you? If you could just introduce yourself and and just state what you'd like to do and
Sure thing. Hi, I'm Andrea Grover. I'm the Executive Director of Guilds Hall, and I'm with my colleague Susan May, who is with 2x4, the design firm. We're very excited to be reopening in July, and this is the last phase of our permitting. What was submitted is unchanged, but Susan has brought some materials to add a little more information. I just wanted to say that 2x4 is an exceptional design firm that most recently is working with the Princeton University Art Museum, but has also worked on Lincoln Center, Harvard Art Museum, the Clark, Longwood Gardens, etc. So very credentialed, very sensitive to the area. So Susan.
and we look forward to your opening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome.
Good to meet you all. I'm going to hand out.
Yes.
What we have is, as Andrew said, is quite similar to what you have, but there are a few amendments, just very, very minor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If everyone has everything. I'll on the pages that are relevant, I'll let you know which is different. It's very, very minor, but ultimately we wanted to add in a little bit of history and strategy on the project. We've been working with Guildhall for some time on the branding, a rebranding, and also a new identity and some collateral work. So you'll see that once opened. Right. So as you all know, I'm sure you've been multiple times to Guildhall. It has a long history. The cultural heart of East Hampton since 1931, supporting and showcasing local artists and beyond. And I'll just read the mission statement because it's a great one, and it's so important to the area. Guildhall encourages our artists, neighbors, and visitors to experience the transformative possibilities of artist-driven interdisciplinary programming, to inspire the creativity and critical thinking, expand notions of what art can be, and connect more deeply with our unique community. But what we're here to talk about is the signage for Guildhall as it opens. So the design system of the signage reflects the historic nature of Guildhall, the architecture. We work with the architects and the landscape architects and Guildhall and the project managers to integrate the design so that it has the scale, the right scale and color and tone of the community and the architectural design. The information system is scaled appropriately. Like there are a few elements around on the site that are kind of small scale that offer announcement of Guildhall and the programming. And small navigation throughout the site, because many folks are local and are patrons in the local area, but there's also the invitation for outside folks to come in. So there is some navigational elements. The next page, sorry, I'm not giving you page numbers, but the next page on page 5 is the identity that we designed for Guildhall and the fonts, the two fonts that we're using. On the exterior, the primary font you'll see on all the signage on the exterior is the primary Guildhall font, the Cambon semi-bold, and then you'll see, and the interior has some of the ADA font, the sans serif font there. Yeah. And then you'll see the palette. It's printed a little light, but basically the palette reflects the interior and the exterior. Everything exterior, often we are using tone-on-tone graphic signage that is like the same color but very deep letters. We also have a contrasting color for text when we need that for direction. And then a couple of tones on the outside for some bronze, but only two of those. And then on page 6 is the site plan. So just to walk you through, if many of you know the site, the physical building is not changing broadly. It's mostly interior work, but there's also some landscape update. So the primary signage is the four on the right, and I'll walk you through that. The main totem is the primary identity for the site, and it also it identifies the Guild Hall, and offers programming, a changeable programming, a static sign. And then B is the street address. C, the primary donor for the building, and again, that's a tone-on-tone letter that is quite deep, but it's the same color as the facade. That's the one change, one of the changes in this.
I have one question, and I forgot, maybe it's changed. Guild Hall number A, is that lit or not?
Not lit, right.
Okay, because I
Right.
think previously it was lit.
There was some discussion about it, but yeah, I guess there was some lighting for that one.
At one time, it was lit, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was like a landscape light on the bottom.
Okay, all right. So this is not, will it have a landscape light on the bottom? No? It will, okay, great, okay.
But very soft, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, appropriate for the evening tone. And dusk hours when there are events there, yeah. Right, good question. And then D is inside the portico, which is being renovated. Also is an annual gifts donor wall that's also tone on tone. Those panels match the wall color inside the portico. And then on the left, we have two small honorific embedded plaques on the ground, one for the plaza in the front, and then one for the pathway around to the parking and to the Berman Gardens.
Is that number E, is that E?
That's E, there are two
Okay.
E's there, yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully that's all legible in your print. Right. And that would be flush and non-skid, so just in case that question came up. And F, we have, these are new elements, a small directional totem. And after these pages, you've seen it before since you had the package before. We'll go into detail real quickly on each of these elements and answer any questions. But the directional totems, we have three its key decision points to direct only to the primary destinations inside the Guild Hall, the Education Center on the north, and then the two gardens and parking. And then the other two elements are primarily honorific, but also space identifications on the outside of the building. So there's a very few of those around the site that identify donors. And then the last one, H, is for tree landscape elements that is would not be we don't anticipate, I think, any day one as we wait for those donors to be assigned. But okay, so just to go into detail real quickly on each of these, and please, bring questions as we go through. The primary identity, the totem on page 7, that is out front, and if you want to reflect where, again, that's close to the sidewalk. Before, the identity was on the building, and now we have the identity on this totem. And then the graphic is on a sort of pronounced forward element, and that would be changed when events. So what's shown visually is more artistic and about one event, but it would have more of a listing.
And that totem, is it bronze? It looks bronze?
It's a painted color.
It's like a black gray?
It's a dark gray color, yeah.
Yes, it looks like it. Okay.
Is there a reason you chose to all of a sudden put a black element out in front?
Well, we have text color. It's the same color as the text on the other elements. So moving to page 12, those elements are the inverse, where there's a white totem that is the same as the building color, and the text color is the gray.
It's just that when it's the whole mass, it's a lot It's one thing to have that color in text, it's another thing to have that color as the,
It's the cool gray on your
Right, on the
swatch.
palette, that's right, that's right.
There's a palette on, what is that, page 5?
4, 5. Right. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I think, in a way, that may recede a little bit and let the identity and the listings come forward. So there's that play, often things that are dark do recede in certain environments. I mean, the building behind is light, but.
Yeah, I think it recedes more to have the darker.
Yes, it does. And it's 7 feet 1 inches tall, so it's sort of am I correct? Yes.
I think white would stand out more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the color's excellent.
Okay,
choice.
good. Okay, great. Good to hear.
Okay.
That was our feeling as well. And then on page 8, toggling back to that sequence, this is what, in your former package, the letters appeared bronze. So now these letters are, the building donor, they're deep, they're 3/4 inch deep, so they create shadow, but it's tone on tone, so it's the same color as the building,
Nice.
which is a nice integration.
Yeah, it looks very nice.
Okay. And also the building address there to the left, which is where it was located before, but now it's dimensional letters and as opposed to a panel that it was before. And then inside the portico there, the little intimate space before you enter, we have the donor, the annual gift donor wall. And those are changeable panels. They're very close to flush to the wall, but they're on Z-clips, so you can remove them and change as years go by for new donors. And this page 10 shows the plaque that's out front. That's the plaza donor. And yeah, so that's the bronze color. We're trying to get a bronze color that is close to the brick. The tough thing with that is basically when you have an in-grade bronze panel, in the end you get foot polishing, so it goes lighter. So we're going to test that.
And it changes over time also.
Right, right.
Okay.
And the next page is a smaller one. This is located toward the parking area, and this is a donor for the pathway, smaller plaque. It's embedded into the brick there. And then page 12, we have directional signage. We only have 3 of these located, and again, they're only to these primary destinations. The folks that know Guildhall know their way around the place, but I think it'll be great for those new visitors to have these located. It's quite integrated in the landscaping, and it's quite short. Most wayfinding in larger sort of facilities is kind of a higher. You don't want text down at your knee, but I think this is appropriately scaled.
What's the height on this?
3.6,
3.9.
3 feet 9. Okay.
Yeah, we looked at different heights, but felt like having them very sweet and petite, it was the right move.
And you use the serif font for this, not the ADA
Right,
font?
right.
It's right here. Okay. Thank you on that. Yeah.
And around the site, there are a few of these honorific plaques on page 13. In the portico, the education center with existing donor, Boots Lamb, and the 2 gardens on page 14. Those are on walls. Those are on the plan as well, but not identified specifically. I can call them out if needed. But and then on page 15 are sort of brown plaques for some of the landscape elements for donors. Any other questions about that? And then we have basics signage, the regulatory signage on glass that we have, at each of the entries have direction and hours and that sort of thing. Identify that at the education center as well. And then And then the summary page on 17, just a visual summary of the primary element.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Looks quite nice.
Let me know if there's any questions on these. Yeah.
Billy, any questions?
I had one question. The name, the first sign?
Billy, could you go to the microphone?
No, that is not. It is not. It's going to have a little bit of uplift. The totem, you mean, right?
Yes.
I'm sure you're looking through
Yes.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have a soft uplight.
Right.
Like incandescent or not a LED or?
No, just like kind of like a low output halogen or something like that, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
great. Tom,
I mean, we've worked with the landscape folks to
okay.
identify that.
Thank you. Tom, any questions?
No.
Okay, board members, any questions? Okay, if not, then I would entertain a motion to approve this application. Do I have that motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Kristen. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ann. All in favor? Aye. Great, thank you. And thank you, that's a lovely presentation. Okay, the next item on the agenda is Chanel. Chanel? Hi. Good morning. That's at 2628 Newtown Lane. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Tara Burke from Lighthouse Land Planning, here on behalf of Chanel and 26 Newtown Lane LLC. This is a modification to the previously approved application. I think during that initial review, we talked about, once we took down the bamboo, the exposure of the neighboring wall. So this is an attempt to address it as best we can from our side of the property. The landscaping we had originally proposed on that wall was the boxwoods. So now we're replacing it where we'd like to with the evergreens. And then in addition to that, the alley that is created from the two fences that we put on the side of the building, a trellis along that wall to further screen the building.
Okay, thank you. Billy, any questions? Tom? Board members, God bless you. Any questions, anybody? No?
It looks nice.
Okay. Then I would entertain a motion to approve this application. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Sue. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you all. Okay, the next item is White's Apothecary. Good morning. How are you? Very well, thank you. Just introduce yourself and...
Good morning, members of the board. My name is Jared Mandel, architect. Here with the continuation of the case, 81 East Main Street. And after consideration, speaking with our client from our last meeting, we had addressed it with a resubmittal. And furthermore, Billy had done some research, further research that I'm sure the board has been updated, that we received at the end of last week. So our intention really is to meet the village requirements and maintain the historic integrity of the building. So we had made the resubmittal. I did have some further discussions with the client since the resubmittal, and we're looking to come even closer. I believe the renderings may have still had dark windows in them, and we're actually did some convincing, and we're in the white category now.
Yeah.
But I did update the rendering as well. So our intention really is just to meet everything that was documented, but the one item that, so I guess going into that, I mean, we do want to bring the mutton bars into the top windows, but if the board was not okay with that, we would 100% be open to making them clear windows. I have renditions of both here as well, so if the board wants to see the different
But they'll be white now.
they'll be white, yes, 100%.
It looks quite attractive.
Okay, great. And we'd like to, obviously keep the bars in the top, the mutton bars that are up top, and we'd like to clear up the glass in the lower area, just for a little bit more of a modernization, but at the same time, the picture from 1944 seems to have a more clear glass in it as well. So I think it might actually backdate the building a little bit back to where it was.
Okay, thank you. Billy, your comments?
I have no specific
Okay.
comments.
Tom? Okay.
Are there,
board
can I ask a
members?
question? Are the windows at the top, are they also going to be white now instead of?
Yes.
All the windows?
All of the
They're
windows
all
white.
white. Yes, okay.
And what about these little, the caps on the top?
Caps on the top, lead-coated copper.
Oh, that's nice. Lead coated copper. Okay, that'll be great.
Very pretty.
Okay, I'm sorry, Billy, you have a
Sorry,
question?
One question.
Go ahead.
The revised rendering, do we have a set of plans that call out the plans that were submitted have the black trim and
Yes.
we just would need a set of plans that actually reflect the new
Yes.
colors and scheme.
Could you,
I believe the color isn't on, I'll update it with the color, because I was trying to do some convincing as we were,
well, if you could go ahead and do that and send it to Pam.
100%.
So that we'll have that, and so then we could approve that application.
Okay.
Okay, so then if there are no further questions, I would.
One more comment, if
Sure.
possible, because I just wanted to make sure that I covered everything, because obviously, some of the finishes are, I guess, financially, it's, increasing in cost for the front, and the owner is looking at the sides, potentially being a little, cost engineering the sides a bit with the window selections. I know that we have to go wood on the front. Is there any restrictions on the windows that go into the side, if he was to try to save some money on the windows that are going into the sides and rear of the building?
I'm sorry, Billy, please.
Yeah, no, my suggestion to the board was to focus on the front facade.
Right.
The sides and the rear of the building, my personal recommendation
Right.
is I have less concern about.
Okay.
It was just really, wood on the front of the building.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. And Tom, is that okay with you? Okay. Okay, so then, okay. With that said,
So can we
yeah.
approve it with the new plans submitted, or do they need to come back to the next meeting with the updated plans?
You could approve it conditioned on.
We will. Yes.
On submission of the revised plans. When they come in, I'll check them and I can update the board.
Yeah.
After they come in.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead, you're going to submit the plans to
Yes.
Pam, and then Billy will check it. So then, based upon what we're looking at right now, we will approve it with your updates. So, do I have a motion to approve this application?
I'll make a
Subject
motion.
to
Yep, sorry.
your change there, okay?
Okay.
Do I have a motion? And-
Make a motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Kate,
very much.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. Thanks very much, and you put some work into it, it looks it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for getting to white.
Yeah, thank you for making that transition. You're a good
It looks
negotiator.
really great.
Okay. Okay, thank you very
Nice
much,
to
and
meet
have a
you.
nice day. The other item is, let me see, do we get
Woods
that?
Lane.
Woods Lane.
Woods Lane. Okay.
Does it sound like they're going
Okay.
to arrive?
So then, Pam, Woods Lane, should we,
This was to replace the driveway
Yes.
material,
Yes.
or not replace it, but they want to cover the Belgian block
Yes.
with a,
The whole driveway?
the entire driveway, except for the aprons that extend out onto Woods Lane. They would leave the apron from the fence out to the pavement. They would leave Belgian block. And then, from the fence towards the house, it would be oiled and stoned. So they'd be covering up the Belgian block with a gravel or a wood chip. I'm sorry, not wood chip, a quartz chip.
Why would they want to do that?
I just think the
You pay a
Belgian block
fortune
looks
for
so
the
nice.
Belgian block, and then you have stones flying around.
Can we ask for a sample?
Yeah. Why don't we do that?
Like, just sample of seeing what
Yeah.
it actually
Sure.
looks like?
Yep.
Because
And I-
they should be able to give a bag,
Yeah, bag, sure.
a bag of
Yep.
it to,
Yeah. And
See
just
what it looks like.
just the reminder is that this is the historic district, and so we really want to see a sample of that. And we would also, I guess, Pam, we should have them at the next meeting? Yes. Why don't we do that?
I can
Request the applicant to come at the next meeting with samples, and then we could just discuss it.
can't, I just have one other
Surely,
question that I
surely.
think you probably can answer. Has it always had Belgian block, or was that, or do you know at what point in the history of the house?
I don't know. It's been there a long time.
I don't know how long, though. I mean, in my 20 years, it's been Belgian block.
So
I think it has it had a heating element below the Belgian block.
Probably.
But it's since not working.
Right.
So, I know there was discussion with the prior contractor to rip out the Belgian block and put in gravel, and then that they never proceeded with the application, but I had that conversation with them, and now it's come back again, so.
And my only question is if it's going over Belgian block, which is, you know, a rigid, strong material, and what do you do in the wintertime and you have to...
Try to
you know,
plow that.
Try to plow it.
They do,
I can't
it's a
imagine.
system where they do, it's there's a very small layer that's loose, that they put down a,
Yeah, they're going to oil, I believe they're going to put down a layer of oil or tar.
yeah.
So the gravel will adhere to that. There will be a loose layer. They'll have to
Always a
replenish
loose
that
layer.
probably
It'll
every
probably
spring.
have to be
Every year you
dressed,
have to redress that.
Yeah.
Redress it, right,
Yeah.
exactly. Okay, with that said, any other questions? Okay, this concludes our agenda for today. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
I'll
Thank you,
second it.
Kristen. Thank you, Sue. All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you all, and thank you for
Thank you.
Julian.